Alright guys, let's get started.
Yo, you in the house.
Fuck yeah. Thanks for that, Dave.
Yeah.
First thing I'd like you guys to do is if you could put your cell phones on vibrate.
Oh, shit.
If you guys do need to take a call, go ahead and do your thing. Fridge is open, beer's there. You know, I want this to be a two-way communication, so if you guys have something to say, a question at any time, just go ahead and throw it out. And we're going to cover all the basic shit tonight. You know, basically starting you from the ground up and get you guys in the game. First question is, how many of you guys have not read this book, A Mystery Myth?
I haven't.
Sweet. This will be good. This will be good. So all new. Okay.
I didn't know you had a book. They had just a TV show.
Damn. There's like 3 books actually.
Yeah.
All right. So tonight we're going to be doing the M3 model, the mystery method.
Hey, with the, you say he's got 3 books?
Yeah.
Would you recommend starting with like first, second, and third, or like?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
This is going to be, we can consider this my book report on the first one, and basically like download the information into you guys' heads so that when we go on the field, you know, you'll know a little more what's going on, because in the community we speak in a lot of lingo, and what Mystery's done is he's made this algorithmic chart which is the stages of human courtship, from the attraction phase to building comfort into seduction, basically from meeting a woman, from the initial eye contact, all the way to beginning a sexual relationship.
Just like we talked about Monday night with Ross Jeffries and our NLP method.
Mm-hmm. And the thing with this chart, though, is it's kind of written in a different language. Like if I gave you guys, you know, E equals MC squared, you'd have to start learning what E actually meant and what MC squared meant. So we're going to go real deep into this stuff so you guys can really understand it. Okay. All right, so a couple of community philosophies. Regardless of what you guys have heard through your whole life up until now, turns out that science has proven that human beings and any creature on the planet have 2 basic biological necessities, which is survival and replication.
Yep.
Survival meaning eat, sleep, and shit, and replication meaning to procreate. Now, any creature that can't attract a mate is by dictionary definition a genetic failure or sterile. So picking up women is a matter of life and death. Now what he's done is given you a game plan here that's going to accelerate your learning curve.
Cool.
So the PUA mindset. You are a biological machine. Your body is simply a vehicle used to transport your genes from point A to the girl. Unfortunately, on your SNR clock in the corner of this, you know, life video game, we only have 28,251 days to make this happen. That's approximately 75 years for men. Women have a life expectancy of 77 years. Now, most of us are in our 20s, 30s, 40s, so we don't have that 28,000 days. We have more like 11 to 15,000 days. Your genetic legacy and genetic immortality depends on your mastery in this skill set. If you don't get this part of your life handled, and Mystery will quote, nature will unapologetically weed your genes out of existence. So with that being said, I want you guys to begin seeing the world as like a gigantic global mating ritual. Everything we do is like an act of human courtship. The reason we put, you know, rims and a system in our car was to, you know, floss by college and get the girl's attention, right? We know it's hardwired into us. Everything we do, like the reason we try to get that promotion so we can get the bigger house, the nicer car, all in the act to attract a mate. Breaking it down even further, the way humans interact. Oh, no question?
No, I read about this stuff. He's right at the bottom about the VHVs and the DLVs. Yeah, demonstrating high value versus demonstrating low value.
Mm-hmm. That's actually really all that we do. The way humans interact is only these 6 characteristics. In terms of IOIs or IODs, those are acronyms for indicators of interest versus indicators of disinterest. That's not necessarily a sexual indicator of interest. It's just she's interested in continuing the interaction with you, whether it's just talking to you, or they can start being into, sexual IOIs, like licking her lips, looking at your crotch, the way she might fondle her glass when she's talking to you.
Yeah.
So the second one is DHVs versus DLVs, which is a community acronym for demonstrations of higher value or demonstrations of lower value. If I play guitar and sing in front of an audience of 10,000 people, that would be a demonstration of higher value. If I was born with cerebral palsy and was moving around through life in a wheelchair, that would be a demonstration of lower value. So on terms of survival and replication, SNR, only the strong are going to survive, right? Women are going to be attracted to men who have DHVs rather than DLVs.
Yep.
And the last two is compliance tests, which can either be a form of compliance or defiance. For example, if I was like, "Hey, could you hold this for a second?" Cool. That was a compliance test. He complied to my request. He didn't have to comply. He could have been like, "No, fuck you, hold your own paper," right?
It's heavy.
Yeah. Just like the same way a girl might compliance test us. She'll say, "Hey, buy me a drink."
That always happens. I hate when
Right?
they always action. They have no money. If we have no money, then why not? I'll go after some other guy who can be that loser.
Who has better options than me? No.
Exactly.
For sure. So we're going to go real deep into these terms, and we're going to do quite a lot of vocab before we get into the model, so that when we do go into the model, you'll be able to process it and know exactly what he's talking about. So we'll start with indicators of interest. IOIs are conscious and often unconscious actions that an HB, hot babe, takes to communicate her interest in a man. Most AFCs are ignorant. AFC is an acronym for average frustrated chump. Most AFCs are ignorant of IOIs, but with training, a PUA can begin to see the subtle signals that a woman may be interested in him, which can lead to a warmer approach. Hey, Raphael, could you read the first one?
First one? Which one?
It's right.
Oh, that one. The first line?
Yeah.
You just read it.
Oh,
Down there, yeah.
He
HP.
sees you and holds eye contact. Come up to you.
okay. AI means approach invitation in this context. It can also mean accomplishment intro, but that's in regards to wingmanship. So an IOI could be she holds eye contact. For example, Sean, if a woman looked at you, looked down and came back up, what do you think that would mean?
That's good. It's kind of like a form of submission, don't you think?
Perfect, yeah.
What if you
do that and you're a chump?
Yes. Yes. So if you get one of those looks and she looks down and comes back up, approach that pussy immediately. Okay? She's basically saying, I wouldn't mind it if you came over here and started a conversation with me. That would be okay.
That's good. I missed all those points.
Yeah.
But Dave, what if a woman... She can't look at you if you're not looking. What if a woman was at a bar across and she looked at you and then up and away?
When it comes to women, I tend to be close because I have no idea. Every time I think a woman's interested in me, for some reason she seems not to be interested in me. They seem to me as, hey, let's just be friends. In other words, I'm not going to ever open up my legs for you, so get out of here. I don't think I'll be with you ever. You lose. That's what they see me as.
There's something in here. We're going to change that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys think if she looked at you and looked up and away?
Oh,
what would you take that as?
She's not interested.
Not necessarily that she's not interested, but she's subcommunicating that don't approach me right now,
Just
meaning her boyfriend might be there, her family might be there, there's some kind of social pressure. It can also, mean that, oh, loser, I'm not trying to talk to you. But it doesn't mean you can't turn her IOI or her IOD into an IOI by demonstrating higher value.
It could also mean that she's trying to act especially cool or something too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, women, they go to the club or, they get dressed up. A hot girl's reality is a lot different than guys. We wake up, we go to work, and then we get dressed to the club and we try to go meet women.
Just like we ever go to, if you ever go into a strip, especially like on Thursday or Friday night, that's funny, man, all those women want to dress up. They dress to impress.
I don't mean to be rude or anything, man. I came out here to listen to his presentation.
Sorry.
I mean, go for it, comment, but
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Oh, what I was saying is, a hot girl's reality is a lot different than ours. You know, like I'm saying, we wake up, we get dressed, we go to work, come home, get dressed, we go to the club, look for women. Whereas most hot girls, you know, they have a man to provide for them. They're sleeping in. They wake up and they get dressed up. And the time they go outside, they have, 10, 20, 30 guys hitting on them all day. By the time they get to the club, their ego is so high. That's where that bitch shield comes in. So, but with demonstrations of higher value, that's how we can, first she may IOD you, but your DHV is going to lower her bitch shield so that she'll be more responsive to talk to you. Flip, can you read the second one?
HB scratches her hand, touches her hair, unconscious, physical.
Right. So you're in a conversation and she scratches here. She may scratch here. She may scratch your face. She may give you a hair toss. Those are all IOIs. No, remember if you receive 3 IOIs, you guys can technically go in for the kiss and most likely she'll take it. Ken, can you read the third one?
Hot bae, body language is warm and leans openly towards you, body language.
For sure. So, I'll have a chair over here. Say, I was a woman, and I was talking to, this sexy guy right here, and as she's talking, she's, leaning in, right? Now, this is PUAs. Most guys, we call it pecking, because guys will lean in trying to hear what she wants to hear, but it's conveying, needy behavior, low value. So, go ahead and lean back and let her come towards you.
Oh, okay, I see.
All right. Dave, can you read the next one?
Okay, the third one, right? Oh, fourth one, okay. HB, touching view, keynote escalation.
For sure. So she's she's giving you some IOIs. She's flipping her hair and she may tap you on the elbow. She may say, hey, that's an interesting necklace. She may start touching you. Those are physical IOIs, they're very strong. I mean, if she starts touching you, go ahead and physically escalate back. You want to return an IOI with an IOI. Cool? Next one, Sean.
Which one are we on?
And the fifth one.
Compliance.
HB compliance.
HB complies with the request.
Right. So you tell her, hey, can you get us, buy us a round or something? And she complies with your request. Again, she's indicating interest with talking to you. And remember I said earlier, like, she may compliance test you and say, hey, Sean, buy me a drink. Where you can flip that around and say, you know what? How about you get this round, I'll get the next round. I mean, that's fair, right? You're fair, aren't you? So you take her compliance test and you flip it on her.
Nice.
So then she's like, oh, this guy's challenged me, okay. She most likely will comply with the request because most guys don't talk to her like that. Usually guys, AFCs will supplicate to her and be like, oh, let me buy you this drink because I might get some pussy later. But what really happens is she takes your drink and then she's like, thanks, I got to go to the bathroom. And then she's gone, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So no more of that. No more gifts. No more buying chocolates. No more, taking off the coat and putting it on the puddle and letting her walk over it. That stops today.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. Eddie, could you read the next one?
Sure. She says she likes something about you.
Cool. She says, hey, that's a cool shirt. Right? Again, she gives you an IOI. You can return that IOI and say, you're very lovely of yourself. What do you have going for you other than your looks? She's already saying that she likes you, so you can go ahead and start qualifying her.
That's pretty clever. I like that.
Okay, yeah.
Nice.
John, can you read the next one?
HB has DDBL.
Okay, that's the acronym for doggy dinner bowl look. Like, she's sitting there talking to you, and she's like this, just totally intrigued.
What's it like?
Like her.
I never did the day in the headlights look does, right? Like,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Where she's just like, wow, what I see in front of me, I really like. And notice the pupil dilation when she does this look. Cool. Hey, Carrie, you got the next one?
Nice.
Sure do. HB licking her lips, go to the kiss close.
For sure. She's looking at you, and she starts biting her lip. Biting a lip is a body language thing where usually people are holding back something they want to say. But if she's got that doggy dinner bowl look and she's kind of, licking her lips, go ahead and kiss her. Try it. The worst thing that happens is she might move back. Again, she IODs. You IOD back, and you demonstrate higher value. And then keep going.
Back to that.
oh, she may move back and be like, oh, you couldn't handle me anyway. But anyway, and then you go into a DHV routine. But I'm going to go into that later, so it'll make more sense. Hey, August, can you grab the next one?
HB pushes up her breasts. Sexual escalation.
You've seen that like on Night of the Rock? No, Night of the Roxbury. Let's work it, girls. Right? Cool. Sexual escalation. Hey, Rich, got the next one?
HB is willing to bounce or allowed to be isolated or leave the bar with you.
For sure. So you're talking to the girl at Blue Martini, and you're getting some IOIs. The interaction's pretty good, and you say, you know what? We're gonna go get breakfast. We're gonna hit up Denny's. As she goes with you, you're in the game. You guys clear on IOIs?
Yes.
Cool. So, on the other side of the spectrum, we have an indicator of disinterest. IODs are subtle and sometimes not so subtle. IODs are signals that a woman is not interested in having any sort of interaction with the PUA. IODs can be verbal, such as a woman telling the PUA, that's not funny, or I have a boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Or it can be physical, like avoiding eye contact or evasive body language. Nonverbal IODs tend to be more reliable than just words. Like if, say we were having a conversation and in the middle of it, she turns to her friend, as if her friend had more value than what was in front of her. It's important to realize that IODs do not necessarily mean that a woman is completely uninterested in a sexual relationship. Sometimes an IOD could just be part of her bit shield, or it could be a shit test designed to test the strength of the PUA's frame. Or that is she might want to see a little more persistence from you. Whatever the case, it's usually best for the PUA to plow through the interaction unless the woman specifically tells him to go away. And worst case, she says fuck off, and I've seen it in field. You can give her a pleasure to meet you and move on to the next. It's like being in an arcade with a pocket full of quarters. There's so many women out there in this pool in Vegas, they just keep coming back. So if one tells you to piss off, put in another quarter and fucking press continue.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So unless she tells you that means you can still pursue her then, because so many times, like for me, when I think these women are interested, I don't know, because I don't pursue them, because I'm thinking, well, okay, she's not interested. Well, okay, next time you tell me to F off, I'll still pursue them then. Nice.
Sure, just keep plowing. You never know. Sometimes they just...
That's true.
You might have not demonstrated enough value, and if you keep talking, you may... what's the word I'm looking for?
DHV.
You may inadvertently, DHV just by something you say, and then she says, oh, wow, that's interesting. And now she's giving you an IOI to get back in the conversation.
Nice.
Some ways to overcome IODs are by either negging or doing a false takeaway. If the IOD is coming from a girlfriend such as the mother hen, the PUA must recognize the need to win her approval first before he can isolate the target. That's in regards to if you were in a two-set, meaning two girls, and usually the one is the cock block.
Oh, yeah.
If you come in and you put all your attention on the target, this girl's going to be like, well, where's my piece of candy? And she's looking for something else. And because you came in solo, she's going to grab her friend and be like, well, we have to go to the bathroom. So she's acting like she's saving her friend just because, you haven't, again, displayed enough value.
That's a good one.
So, going into demonstrations of higher value. A story or action used to increase the perceived value of the PUA within a setting, which results in increased attraction and interest from the opposite sex, also known as display higher value. Now, women, we're going to go into attraction circuitry in a second, but we're going to come back to this. But there's actually 6 specific demonstrations of higher value that Mystery has isolated that will just trigger instant attraction with the woman.
Wow.
See, there's this guy named David D'Angelo, and he's another guru like Mystery.
Yep.
And his mantra, or one of his favorite quotes, is attraction isn't a choice. Now what that means is, Ken, say this girl in the middle walks in a bar, walks up to you, no games, she's just like, she says, I think you're hot, I want to fuck you. Would you fuck her?
I say, no, I can't do that.
You're a fucking liar.
No.
I'm religious.
That was me. I'm saying, okay, so let's do it right now.
Yeah, no games. She doesn't have A's or anything. Just she comes up and she wants to have sex. Would anyone not have sex with her?
Heck yeah.
Perfect. Why? Because men's attraction circuitry is based on the woman's physicality. Whereas a woman's attraction circuitry fires in accordance to a man's survival value. Like we're looking at her replication. What I fucked that up. She's looking for your inner characteristics that we need to demonstrate. You may be the best looking guy. You could be Brad Pitt, but if she doesn't know you're Brad Pitt, you're just another guy in the club. You may be good looking, but it's not enough to have sex with you. So what we want to do is start triggering her attraction circuitry. Now what attraction isn't a choice actually means is if you feel attraction for a woman, there's nothing you can do about it, right? I can't sit there and tell you, don't be attracted to her. You can't even convince yourself, like, no, I don't like her. But then you look at her and you're like, nah, I'd fuck her, right? Now, if the woman does not want you to be attracted to her, there's nothing she can do to convince you out of it. She can't walk up and be like, you shouldn't like me because I'm a bitch and I'm on pills. You're still like, all right, but you're hot, I'd still fuck you, right?
Yeah.
Cool? If a woman is not attracted to you, there's nothing you can do about it. No amount of convincing her will make her feel attraction for you. This is where we fall into that nice guy framework. We're trying to talk to the hot cheerleader and we come with the bouquet of daisies and we're like, will you like me? Can I give you this chocolate to buy your attention, your affection, your approval?
Yeah.
No matter what you do, you're just like, well, I'll take you out to a nice dinner, $200 dinner. And she might go, but she's still not attracted to you. You're not going to get that pussy.
Yep.
Right?
Because you're demonstrating value.
Just because she's not attracted to you and you can't convince her to become attracted to you, you actually have to demonstrate value to make her become attracted to you. But where we have the upper hand, when a woman feels attraction to you, there's nothing she can do about it. It means if she thinks you're hot, her friends can't say, oh, don't like him, he's an asshole. Well, so that'll just make her like you more, right?
I want to be
if you can learn to trigger attraction, she will not be able to help herself. So going deeper into male and female attraction circuitry.
Quick
Men,
question.
go ahead.
Yeah. So let's say, like you said earlier, if the cheerleader, let's say you go, or the hot chick, you go and get her flowers, get her stuff, and that's really not gonna make her like you.
Right.
So if that's the case, you just kind of leave it alone, or what do you do? If that's just like, it's not gonna work. You're only gonna boost her ego, right?
It's like if I
Like, what's the other option?
imagine there's someone that's just like not giving you their attention, and then you like try to buy it from them, and you're like, well, hey man, or hey girl, I'll take you out to this dinner. And she's still not getting to actually know you. It's like you're trying to buy her attention. Then in fact, when you do that, she actually starts looking at you like, a simp. Like, okay, I can start using this guy. You know what? She may feel comfortable with you. She'll go out to dinner with you. She'll let you buy the dinner. Then you'll be like, hey, let's go to the club. And she'll say, sure. You can be the guy to hold her purse while she goes to the bathroom and starts flirting with other guys.
So what's the option? That's my question.
Don't do any of that behavior. And none of that, none of that.
That's the rest of the
That's a
presentation.
good look. Would you buy her
I
drink? What
see.
should you say? She said, would you buy me a
Gotcha.
drink? What would you say?
Well, I'd say, why don't you buy the first round? I'll buy the second round. That's fair, right? I mean, you're fair, aren't you?
But she's gonna say no.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, bye-bye.
And if she says no, she's IOD, you give her IOD back. Or you say, okay, well, you probably can handle me anyway. And then start talking to her friend. That'll make her jealous and she'll come back. But men, we're kind of like a light switch, right? The woman, that hot girl walks in the bar and it's just like, okay, I want to fuck her, right? It's that simple. Light switch turns on, boom, your dick is hard. But women are more like a dimmer, so you got to work them up. You give them a DHV, you start cranking up that dial. You give them another DHV, cranks up the dial. And what we're going to do in a second is like there's these 6 specific DVDs that will crank that dial very quickly. All right, so the first one right here is you need to demonstrate that you are a leader of men. You want to indicate that you are an alpha male and you possess social intelligence, be a provider of social proof and survival resources. Mystery will quote, lead the men and the women will follow. What that means...
Are this slide in here or this? I was just trying to find where we're at. This isn't in here, I don't think, right?
Yeah, I didn't have enough ink to print everything.
Oh, that's cool. Look,
time.
I'm just trying to find the place.
For sure. Well, when it comes to like leader of men, ask yourself this question. Say, like that show Lost. Imagine you got shipwrecked on a desert island with 50 other people. Would you naturally rise to be the leader of that tribe, or would someone else end up being the leader, and you would end up being his bitch. Like, hey, he'd tell you, you know, go get us some firewood, go get us some coconuts. If you're not the leader, you're not getting laid. Cool?
That's
You gotta
true.
pretend to be the leader if you're not the leader.
Yeah. Wait.
What if everyone's pretending it's on his slide?
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it.
For sure, dude.
Well, that's something you can do with the wingman. I mean, you basically take turns being the leader.
Yes.
With your wingman, right? And that's how you can.
I'm going out with you because no one gets that concept. Every time there was one guy I used to go out with, and he just never got that concept because I would play like the submissive role when it was his night, when he was the primary and I'd be the wing, but he still wouldn't step it up. Like he'd still keep submitting to me, and every time he'd open a set, the girl would become attracted to me because in me and my wing, like a 2-set, she always sees one guy more dominant than the other. So I would try to play down that role and be like the submissive, like, yeah, this guy, man, he's fucking tight. Hey, bro, can I get you a drink? Like, and I would pretend to be his bitch. But then he'd be like, oh, no, man, let me get you a drink, bro. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like,
Hello,
Yeah.
read the clues.
Perfect. I'm glad you brought that up, dude. Because, yeah, when you go out with a wing, dude, make sure that you guys decide beforehand, like, whose birthday is it tonight? You know, are you getting laid or is it his turn? You just swap. The next one, this is like one of the most major ones. This isn't a mystery term. This was actually developed in the 1920s. It's called pre-selection. And you need to demonstrate that you have pre-selection from other women. One, it'll create a jealousy plot line, and you know, what other women want, or what other women have, other women want. If she sees you in a club rolling in with 2 girls, she knows that if you have legitimate value for those women, you must have legitimate value for her. This actually came from this thing in, you know, like 100 years ago, where they had a picture of a guy, right? And then they took the second picture, same pose, but they had a girl in the picture smiling at him, like. And they asked like 1,000 girls, which do you find more attractive? And all those 1,000 girls said the guy who has the girl smiling at him. Thus, pre-selection was born.
They've actually done that with species of fish, other animals, where they've taken actually specific animals that were weak and unhealthy, but put them in like a fish tank with female fish, and then put another fish bowl next to it. Once they released those other female fish, they became like subs to that so-called dominant male and replicated with them.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
The other experiment they did on that was there was like this male grouse bird. They put it in a cage with like 6 female grouse birds. And he's all trying to mount them and get on them, and they weren't having nothing to do with him. They're just flying all over, getting away from him. They take a stuffed female bird and put it next to that male.
Right.
All those other girls just flock on him. They're all on his jock, dude.
Okay, so then the thing is, we might as well get a wing woman too.
Wing woman is the best way to go. If you guys go to the club, before I learned all this stuff, I used to, you know, go to the club with, you know, 5 guy friends. To a girl, that just looks like, you know, a cock fest. And one guy will be, you know, the loud, obnoxious guy, or maybe he'll be the leader, and he's the one that always gets the girl. And I'd be like, what the fuck, you know, if I was rolling with someone that was more dominant than me. But if you can roll the club with 5 girls, you can have your pick. Imagine like you're walking through the club and, you know, you have 2 hot girls on your arm. Every set will open. They're not threatened by you either because you're already with girls. So it doesn't look like you're trying to take their girls. If you can all of you guys manage to somehow convey pre-selection at this point?
I got a couple of wing women myself, so I can go out with them.
If you can't, when I started, I found this trick, and because I use a lot of like online game and you know, Facebook openings, and I just had a bunch of pictures of me. And when I found I need pre-selection, I was like, well, I need pictures of me with girls. So I would go out to the strip with my camera and my friend, and then I'd see a hot girl and I'd be like, hey, my girlfriend just broke up with me and I want to make her jealous. Can I take a picture with you? She's like, okay. So I'd have her like lean in, and both be smiling. He'd take the picture, and then I'd bounce. And then I started posting those up, and girls actually started like, oh, who is that? I'm like, oh shit, this like works here.
Wow.
Okay, the next, yeah, you don't necessarily have to know her though. It's just,
Right, exactly.
she's, we call her like, you know, a pawn or a pivot.
Just like a few months back when I went to our first party here, I had those 2 women. It was Mackenzie and Christian. And when I posted on Facebook, I never had so much reaction from all my friends. Like, gee, David, who the hell, who is that with you? Wow, Dave, we gotta hang out with you because you got all the hot babes.
With the blonde and the brunette, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That was a good picture. The next thing you need to demonstrate is a willingness to walk away. You can do that verbally or non-verbally. If you're in the physically, you might be in, I keep you right here. If you're talking in set, and then in the middle of the set, you just, you know what, I got an appointment with the urinal, I'll be back in a second. And you fucking leave, right? If you were on a high point at that point, she's gonna be, waiting for you to come back and reinitiate that chat.
Also, she's gonna want you even more because you're saying, hey, I don't give a crap, ladies, now leave me alone.
Yeah. Or, like what we were talking about the other night, if I was in set talking to a girl and then my wing was right here, and I'm saying something like, hey, yeah, you like reading my mind. Do you believe in ESP? Pick a number between 1 and 4 now. And then in the middle, you'd be like, hold that thought. Hey, man, are we going out tomorrow night? And you actually left, the set that you were in, and you swapped into this set. And then you can come back, was it 3? Oh my God.
Just read the number on that one.
It's like this little gambit you can do in set in the middle of a conversation. Then you say like, pick a number between 1 and 4. You snap on 3 and you hold the 3, and then you go, don't say it, just hold it in your mind. Was it 3? And then you do it again, like 1 and 10. You snap on 7. They're like little routines just to like what's the word? Okay.
What's that?
To get
fractionate.
Fractionation? Yeah,
Yeah.
fractionate, yeah.
So she's, you're talking about, I don't know, whatever, and then you just jump into that, and then you come back out of the conversation. So you don't stay on the same thread for so long. Some guys like, the girl's like, I like this music. And then you go, oh yeah, I like this music too. Oh, this music is so great. Yeah, I wish they'd turn, guys, AFCs always stay on the thread for like far too long.
And that comes across as being, that's demonstrating needy behavior right there. By demonstrating that, guess what, you come across as being insecure, and women hate guys who are insecure about themselves. They're like, oh, leave me alone, because he doesn't have confidence, and they want a guy with confidence. It's like, I don't give a crap about anything, whatever.
Another way you can do this is like, if you're on the phone, you're giving her an IOI by giving her a call. But when you get her on the phone, you don't ask her out to do anything. You just may say like, hey, what's up? This is Brian, the tattoo guy from the club last night. Oh, hey, what's going on? Yeah, I'd like to hang out, but I'm really busy right now. I got a lot of stuff going on, but I'll give you a call later. She's like, okay. Fucking hang up on her. And then she's like, wait a minute, this guy didn't ask me out. Like, and then she starts Facebook stalking you, and like Google your name. Okay, so the next one, you want to demonstrate that you are a protector of loved ones. She needs to know that you're able to protect her, the possible children you may have together, and the friends and loved ones around you. That one, I usually use a story in set. I'll say something like, I'm in the middle of talking to her and I say, hey, do you ever go hiking? And then she'll go, yeah or no. And I'll be like, oh, get this. Okay, I was at this place called Mary Jane Falls the other day. It's like the coolest hike. And I'm there with, a buddy and a girlfriend of mine. So I just added pre-selection right there by saying, girlfriend of mine. And I was like, yeah, and her name's Sarah. She's trying to be a go-go dancer. But, we've been drinking like way too much wine. And she, like a quarter mile in, she slipped and she twisted her ankle. And I was like, Maz, dude, we've got to, get her to the hospital. So that right there, because I said, hey, we've got to do this. I told the other guy, I just conveyed leader of men. And then, so I was like, man, I was like getting her down the hill and she's all drunk and half threw up on my arm. I was like, fuck, dude. But it turned out everything was okay. But there, I conveyed protector of loved ones. But I'm not doing that, I'm not telling her directly that I'm a protector of loved ones. I'm doing it inadvertently by my speech. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I felt like I went off on a tangent for a second.
Oh, that was good.
The next thing, you need to demonstrate that you are a successful risk taker in business and in life. Are you the type of guy that, goes skydiving on the weekend, or are you the type of guy that jerks off and watches Star Trek?
Nobody wants to like those guys.
You need to demonstrate that you have a willingness to emote. That's firing the proper emotion at the correct time. Let her know that you're, sane. The ability or willingness to emote, fire the correct emotional filter, or have the correct emotional filters in place so that you respond automatically and unconsciously the right way to different emotional circumstances. Now, what that means is, let's say you were in the club with the girl, and then there's this guy almost like assaulting her. He's drunk, he's touching on her. If you just looked at her and laughed, you wouldn't be having a proper willingness to emote. By decking that dude in the face, you would be demonstrating a proper willingness to emote. on a different situation. Like if you came home, you lost your job, you got fired, and you come home and, punch a hole in the wall and then, pound a 40 and say, fuck it, that wouldn't be the right way to handle things, rather than getting online and going and looking for another job. Just, sucking it up, being a man. Cool?
That's cool.
Now, if you can trigger those things, like I said, that dimmer attraction circuit of hers is going to rapidly switch. Or sometimes I think of it like a switchboard. When I'm in set, I'll already know, like, okay, did I run that Mary Jane Falls gambit? That means, okay, leader of men, pre-selection, protective loved ones, they're all switched. So now I'll be like, somehow I need to demonstrate that I'm a successful risk taker. Or I might take out my, my camera and show her, like a picture that Derek takes tonight and say, yeah, this is a small business that I venture that I'm, starting. And they're like, oh, wow, cool. How's it going? Oh, it's taking off. So then I get, you see what I'm doing there? We call these like embedding DHB spikes into your conversation. So on the other end of the spectrum, we have demonstrations of lower value. DLVs are anything the PUA inadvertently does that communicates that he has low social value or lower social value than his target. Remember, what she's looking for is a man of higher value, meaning equal or higher value to her. So if you're lower value, she can't feel attraction to you. The most common DLVs are anything that the PUA might do that communicates that he does not have strong social skills and that he lacks social values. Making false pauses, failing shit tests, and coming across as incongruent or approval seeking are all common ways which men typically DLV themselves.
Oh God, you're kidding.
DLVs can be anything that communicates the opposite of a DHV. For example, instead of communicating that he's a leader of men, a DLV is anything that shows that the PUA is a follower and lacks leadership skills. Another example would be saying or doing something that shows the PUA is not very popular with women, like, yeah, I haven't been laid in 9 months, instead of communicating pre-selection and social proof. Now, a lot of guys will actually do this in set because they're thinking, oh, well, I want to, women want honesty, so, I haven't been laid in 2 years, I should tell her that. But
No.
if you aren't the type of guy that's good with women, how is she going to want to introduce you into her social circle of her friends?
Exactly.
If other girls don't like you, she doesn't want to be like, this is my, guy friend, and they, you start talking to her friends, and you're like, yeah, girls don't really like me. That's going to bring down her value in the group. And women are very like into their hierarchy of their social circle. They want to bring a man who all their friends will like, because it will boost her ego. Because then she's like, yeah, I got him. He chose me, over you.
It'll boost her ego and her status relative to the other girls too.
Just like
and girls are really, really concerned with what their friends think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan, just like that woman we talked about the other night, you said, hey, just the HBIC, yeah. They have bitch in charge, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Because she wants to be that girl. So.
Just another point, one of my fuck buddies actually, when she's in a relationship, she's with that man, but when she's out of that relationship, she won't go and find another man to fuck. She'll go only to her fuck buddies for fear that she's going to give up some guy who's a bad leg.
Wow.
For sure, that makes sense.
So you don't want to
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
No. So you don't want like some girl. But really, no. She actually, when she's out of a relationship, she'll date other guys, but she will not give it up until she's in a relationship with them. Until that point, she'll only have sex with old boyfriends or even an ex-husband.
Oh yeah.
That's it. Okay? Because she's afraid she's going to go out and meet some guy, think she might be interested in him, have sex with him, find out he's a bad leg. Just trying to reiterate the point about don't be telling chicks you haven't been laid in 2 years.
For sure. Which is different than us guys. When we hang out, if a friend of mine was like, fuck man, I haven't been laid in like 6 months, I'd be like, well fuck, I buy him a beer and then take him to the club.
Yeah.
No big deal.
I get a freaking hooker. So I
Don't tell her that. Yeah. I've been laid once, it was a hooker.
Every time my guy friends about that, I can get you a hooker for less than $100 myself.
Holy shit.
How much does she weigh?
How old is she? She's like one of those 50-year-old ties.
No, this one was 42.
Spike.
That's good shit. You guys all good on DHBs and DLBs?
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, that was tight.
Sorry, we're off track here.
It's all good. Okay, compliance testing. When delivered by a woman, a compliance test is a small request or a series of requests that a woman will make to shift the power dynamic of an interaction to her favor. When delivered by a PUA, It is a test to see the target's current compliance level to him. Now, what that's meaning is, let's say I'm in set with a woman, and then I tell her, buy me a drink, and she goes and does it. It's not the drink that I'm concerned about. I don't give a shit about the beer.
Yeah.
It's does she actually comply with the request? Because then I know she's under compliance to me. I may high-five the girl and say, give me a little spin, and I spin her around. I'm not trying to show off. I just want to see, are you doing what I tell you to do? Because if you can do this, then I can go, I can go further. Compliance testing will start with, just a high five. Like,
That's cool.
if I, go up to the girl and say, give me a high five, she could high five me, give me compliance.
Is that an automatic IOI if they comply?
Yeah, for sure.
It's a good lead.
Because sometimes they won't. I could walk up to a girl and go, hey, high five, and she might just be like, boom, and like totally defy that test.
Okay.
And
I've wondered, I'll do a compliance test just to check it out. I haven't ever read about it, but I've tried it. And I've always wondered, once they do it, does that even mean anything?
You can't just do it once. I mean, you have to keep plowing through.
The idea too is that
On getting them to comply?
You escalate your
yeah,
compliance.
so you want to start low and build up. I mean,
Yeah.
a compliance doesn't mean anything from high five to, okay, open your legs for me.
Yep.
And then you don't start with open your legs for me, you build up over time.
Not to
I learned the hard way on that one.
Not to steal Ryan's thing, but there's the yes ladder that salesmen use, right? It's the same principle,
long as you get
where you
10
get them to
yeses
start
out
saying
of
yes, and you build them up to that. One of my compliance tests is just to like ask a woman, oh, those are real nails, and I'll hold out my hand. If she'll put her hand in my hand, I know right then she's open to a little bit more. It doesn't mean I'm finger begging her in the next 5 minutes. It means my hand can now like go to her elbow, then to her shoulder, then to her lower back.
Nice. A compliance test can be a form of shit test that women use, often subconsciously to test the alpha characteristic of a man, and occasionally to take advantage of him. Again, like, she'll say, hey, buy me a drink, and you buy her a drink, she's like, this guy's under compliance, let's see what else he can give me. Oh, well, give me that dinner. But doesn't mean you're going to get the pussy.
Get the bill.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to get screwed.
And occasionally to take advantage of. Compliance tests can be anything from a small favor to a large request, and often depend on how entitled the woman feels. You get that, right?
Yeah.
She won't just say, buy me a beer. She'll say, give me Patron.
Right.
You're like,
And what's the mantra from Mondays? Dating is for what?
Dating is for fucking.
Dating is for chicks you're fucking.
Yes, it is.
Only for chicks you're fucking.
It's a reward.
Yeah.
how strong, okay. AFCs often fall into the trap over-complying with any request that an attractive woman makes for them, for fear of losing the woman's approval or attention. What these socially uncalibrated men do not realize is that this behavior is very needy and unattractive, and by trying so hard to win the woman's approval, they lose it. Is that ring true?
Yes.
The only way to pass the compliance test is by not complying with it or asking for a compliance test from her in return. That was that one where she said, buy me a drink, and then she gave you the hoop, but instead of, jumping through the hoop like, the circus animal, you went ahead and said, why don't you buy the drink? You get the first round, I'll get the second. So I gave her a test in return. I turned the hoop into a hook. Because now she's like, okay, this guy's challenging me. Let me start pushing his buttons to see if I'm dealing with a real man. A PUA can use compliance tests to his advantage, often to gauge a woman's interest level in him. Another form of compliance test is to have the woman move to a new location at the bar with you, form of logistical compliance. It is important to deliver compliance tests smoothly, as if they are not tests, but rather small hoops that the PUA smoothly transitions to. If a woman complies, the compliance threshold can be increased with each data point. If she declines or is enthusiastic about it, the PUA can always IOD and try again when more demonstrations of value have been communicated from both sides. Okay. Kino, which is short for kinesthetic, which means touch, or any form of touch. High five can be kino, sex is kino. The force of physical energy and touch between people. Kino is one of the key elements of pickup. Kino helps to establish a precedence of touching women and can also be used to communicate sexual interest in a woman. This can help prevent a PUA from ending up in the friend zone. Overt Kino can also be used to arouse women and get her into a sexual state. Psychological studies show that casual touching during a friendly conversation causes people to remember the conversation more fondly after the fact. In pickup, starting Kino early establishes touching as a normal conduit of one's behavior and can help with escalating smoothly into the bedroom. You ever hear those people that are like, they just say they're naturally touchy-feely?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Are you the type of guy that goes into conversation and just naturally touches her? Or are you the type of guy that, takes her to dinner, sits across from her, and then takes her to the movie, doesn't put her arm, and at the end of the night you're thinking, should I go for the kiss? Like it was a big moment to go for it. But if you had naturally been escalating, since the very beginning of the interaction, hey, what's up? You start touching her, you're hugging on her, you may give her a little kiss on the cheek. When you actually start making out, it's not a big deal. And that's why, by doing this correctly, you'll be making out with girls within the first couple minutes instead of, on date 3 or whatever.
Good
Or
practice.
date never.
If you want this to become congruent with who you are, do it with everybody. I mean, when you're shaking hands with a dude, grab him by the shoulder, pat people on the back. Don't just all of a sudden make it become about women, because you will creep them out when you come from a place of creepiness, when you're like, ooh, is this going to work? If it's not part of who you are, establish that now with guys. Work your way towards women. Escalate Kino with a dude.
That works with sales.
That's awesome. That's a good point right there.
AFCs often do not build enough Kino during the interaction, waiting until the last minute to go for a kiss, which seems forced and awkward because there was nothing leading up to it. The general rule with Kino is use it often and early with some calibration, of course. Calibrate to her comfort levels. Everyone good on Kino?
Yeah, can I give an example real quick that
Sure.
what kept me out of the friend zone with one chick? And that was just, she passed out on my couch. She wasn't drunk, she was just napping on my couch, and we had a bunch of people there. And I woke her up by patting her on the butt. She remembered that, like to this day, she'll tell people, yeah, he knows how to wake people up. That girl I turned into a fuck buddy. Almost was a friend.
Wow.
But just because I rubbed her butt to wake her up, yeah, that alone.
It's important. One other thing on Kino, to do it early and often.
I should pass out on my
But a big thing that Mystery talks about too is like you take it away. You do it something, then you take it away, where you push her away.
Yep.
And where if she's touching you somehow, do that for a while, and then you like move her hand back.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
then by taking that away, it makes you want it more. It's the whole willingness to walk away thing.
It's like
David D.
the reason people get addicted to gambling is because it's random return. They're
Yes.
like click click click, I won, click click click, I lost, click click click, lost, click click click, win, click click click, win. Oh, right. So usually when I'm in set, like one of my openers is when I'll be like, hey guys, quick question: if you guys have your own island, what's the first thing you would do on it? And I'm looking, the dorky girl will say like I'd build a house or I'd build a gym, and the slutty girl will be like I'd have sex, I'd smoke pot, I'd get naked, right? And as soon as she does that, I can go in with Kino and be like, oh, you're my new best friend. All right, get off me.
Nice.
Right? Okay. This is the last little section of part 1. Peacocking, or peacock theory.
Yep.
Mystery has this quote that says, the looks you have now help you to fit in, but wouldn't it be nice to stand out?
Yeah.
A PUA wears something flashy, unusual, or even outlandish to attract women's attention and start conversations with them. Peacocking is a technique developed to get attention in busy, distraction-filled environments such as nightclubs. By wearing something showy like a cowboy hat or a glowing necklace, a PUA is able to differentiate himself from all the male competition in the club. This is a term derived from the biology and behavior of peacocks and from Darwinism. Peacocking can also encourage women to start conversations by commenting on the article of clothing they're wearing. The PUA can also use this as a starting point for a DHV routine, some other method of generating attraction and keeping the conversation going. Now,
I didn't wear it. You're
You
gonna kill me.
motherfucker,
It's sitting
dude.
over at Johnny's house right now.
shit. Okay, so
Sorry.
Flip has a little necklace on, right? You don't have to go over the top like this with black nails and stuff, but wear one interesting item of clothing just so she can come up and say like, oh, I think that's cool. Let her start a conversation with you. Maybe like some kind of crazy jacket. I wear like a lot of weird shit. Sometimes when I go out, I'll wear like a feather boa like that. I'll wear, glow sticks and
the cat in the hat.
the cat in the hat, yeah.
What he was referring to is I have a necklace that has this metal cylindrical object on the end of it. Nobody knows what it is, and it makes no sense. It's just really random looking, but it's nice. And people actually will ask me all the time, what is that? So yeah, that's what he was going to refer to because it does stand out.
Yeah, it will prompt them to open a conversation with you, and again, if she opens a conversation with you, that's your first IOI. So
I just don't want to
take it
look
from
like
there.
that and a girl walk up to me and say, "Are you retarded?"
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something with peacocking. I think it's something that it's really easy to overdo when you're first starting out. You're like, oh, I'm gonna just do like I saw the Mysteries TV show. I'm gonna totally do that. And it's something it's easy to overdo, and it's got to be congruent with who you are, how you carry yourself.
Definitely.
If you're dressed like one of these guys, and then you don't know how to talk, you're just gonna look like a fool, like you're trying too hard. It's kind of like I don't know have you ever heard of the term big balls shirt? Basically, it's a shirt. It's a peacock thing. It's something. It's crazy or whatever. And like even before I came across all this stuff. Me and my friend go, oh, that's a big ball shirt. It means you got to have big balls to like pull it off.
For sure.
Because if you don't, if you can't, it's that much more. But if you don't, you kind of like fall flat.
Well, you got to consider though, Mystery, he dresses like a rock star because technically he is a rock star. He doesn't do anything else but go to clubs and pick up women.
Right,
and
it's
teach guys how to
congruent with
do
who
it.
he is.
You know, but if you're a banker in the daytime, you want to do something just slightly a bit more flashy. Not to an extreme, but that takes you off of the banker look.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like one interesting thing that doesn't like, it's not totally incongruent with the outfit, but something that kind of blends in, and then like one, maybe two interesting things that can give that'll be like a hook for her.
I've noticed that you can like lie as well. Like, my job, if I'm trying to be honest with the girl, I'm telling her, I'm an audio video engineer, but I have my nails black, they may be like, why? I say, well, usually I'll end up saying like, oh dude, we had 80s night the other night, it was fucking awesome. My buddy rented us like one of those big mammoth limousines with the stripper pole in the back, which didn't happen, but she's just like, oh wow, this is interesting.
And then that's a DHB then. It's a story you can tell of why, there's a reason for it. It's like,
On the pickup artist, one of the episodes, Mystery was wearing a dress.
He was?
He was wearing a dress.
So was that a dress or was that a kilt?
It was a dress.
Okay, so we want to make sure we didn't offend any of the Irish or Scottish people here then.
well, he could pull that off.
He could get away with it.
He could pull it. It's the thing. I'm sorry. One more story. Have y'all ever heard of the guy? He's a big gambler, and his buddy. They had like some $10,000 bet, or he's like, okay, if I win, I get 10 grand. No, if he lost, he didn't have 10 grand. Say he's like, if you lose, you got to get tits. You're getting breast implants.
Yeah.
So he ended up he got breast implants. He's like, you got to wear them for like 6 months. And then he did them, but the guy pulled off. He was a fun guy, whatever. And chicks loved it. They come up and play with him. And he's like, man, I got more ass during those 6 days. He's like, he kept him longer. Yeah. Did he have to?
What kind of chicks are you gonna dig?
And it was more than 10,000. It was a lot more than 10,000.
It was something like that.
So taken to the extreme, peacocking can be a way for the POA to DHV himself by showing that he is able to stand up to social pressure. By wearing something completely ridiculous, a POA opens himself to ridicule from AMOGs, alpha males of the group, or other guys in the club, and shit tests from women. By demonstrating that he can deal with the social pressure, the POA demonstrates attractive alpha characteristics and social dominance. Let's see here. So, if we sum up part one, our POA mission statement is, in the field as men, we present ourselves in the best possible light and allow the woman the opportunity to choose. All in all, men court, women choose, but we don't chase, which is what most guys do. And again, that would be displaying needy behavior. Exactly. Let them come to us.
Exactly.
All right, so we're going to take a 10-minute break right here, and then when we come back, we're going to go to the model. How do you go from meeting a woman to having sex with her?
We back.
That's the question. So, the overview of the mystery model, the M3 model, is that there are three overarching phases. The attraction phase, the comfort phase, and the seduction phase. If we zoom into these even further, you'll see that there's actually 3 levels of each phase. It's like very similar to Mario Brothers. You go through the 9 levels and you save the princess. The secret here is that the attraction phase plus the comfort phase will equal the seduction phase. Meaning if a woman is attracted to you and she feels comfortable with you, she's going to seduce you. Why wouldn't she want to? This is what happens if you go through them in a different order. You ever go through, you ever play Mario Brothers, right? You start on World 1-1, but in 1-2 they have the warp to World 4, then you warp to World 8.
Of course, yeah, exactly.
Right? But then you start playing World 8 and the little bullet bills, like, they kill you because you don't actually know how to play Mario Brothers. Because you actually didn't play the game, you just try to warp to the end, and that's where you failed.
Yep.
So let's talk about the player. The player is the man who attempts to win the game by warping straight to the seduction phase. Starting the seduction phase will usually telegraph too much interest. You know, she knows right away when you're the guy that walks up in the bar and goes, "Hey baby, what's your sign?" Right? She knows what you want. This displays needy behavior and telegraphs to the target that she is higher value than you, that you're trying to get her, which means she must be the prize. At this point, you're going to notice their bitch shield will intensify. You come up, "Hey baby, what's your sign?" She's like, "I'm here with my girlfriends. I have a boyfriend. Oh, we're talking." If you do succeed, you may find that you're winning by fool's mate. Now, in the game of chess, we've all played chess because most of us are nerds. So you have this board with 68 squares, and the first two of their pawns include all the chess pieces, right? Now you can open with a pawn, and they have to open with a pawn. You open again with a pawn, which will open up your queen. If they open the right pawn, you can move your queen here, and then you have this king in checkmate in 4 moves. But just because you win someone in chess in 4 moves, it doesn't make you a chess champion, right? So we call that fool's mate. So fool's mate doesn't label you a chess champion and is not going to define you as a true PUA or enable you to consistently close using solid game, which is what we want to do. All of us have been getting lucky our whole life, but wouldn't it be nice to be able to walk into any venue, see the girl that we want to take home that night, run this game, and make sure that you score at the end of the game.
And not being perump at a brothel.
That's true.
Okay? So if you want consistency, you must learn game. Otherwise, you're just getting lucky. Building attraction and skipping the comfort phase will usually cause buyer's remorse. Have you guys ever heard of that term?
Yes.
Have you ever experienced that term? Yeah.
Yeah. So you're at you just got paid, and then you're like, "Oh, dude, I'm gonna go buy that new car." And then you get home and you're like, "Fuck, man, I didn't even buy groceries. I didn't pay the rent." And then you actually start resenting that car. You start driving. You're like, "Oh, this fucking piece of shit." You don't have any value for it. The same way, I can teach you how to meet the single girl at a bar and take her in the toilet and fuck her within the first 10 minutes of meeting her. But if you're trying to make her your girlfriend, that's not really the way to go about it. Cool? Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the nice guy. The nice guy is a term that's like, it's a social mask that's worn by a man that's afraid of using this, showing his true colors. Yep. So he starts an attraction, and then he gets stuck there. He's the guy that walks up and says, "Can I buy you a drink?" And he tries to be her friend first. He starts talking. You've seen the movie Swingers. He starts like, "Oh, girls like nice stuff, so I'm going to talk about, puppies and ice cream." And then what happens is she will get comfortable with you. She will take your drinks. But then when you try to physically escalate it in her seduction, you get that bitch shield up. But she's like, "Whoa, I thought we were just friends."
Exactly.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And what happened is, sure, you build a lot of comfort, but she's not attracted to you. So she's not going to let you, she's not going to, raise this gate right here to get you into the last phase. The PUA begins the interaction by building or creating attraction. After the target is attracted to the PUA, he will then build trust, comfort, and connection, TCC. And by first attracting your target and gaining her trust and comfort, she will naturally want to seduce you.
Nice.
Now during this game, you'll see a couple symbols here, M, T, B. Those are...
You still need this border for me.
Oh yeah, it's going to come in and out here, for sure. So like M, T, B. Those are the 3 types of jumps during this game. They're called moving, bouncing, and time bridging. So before you, let me see. I fucked up. So before we go into the model, you're going to have to learn something called logistics. The details of a situation, be it transportation, timing of events, how many friends need to get home, how close the target lives to the PUA's house, and other details that are necessary to successfully complete a pickup. Good logistics are keys to good lays. Well, a lot of lairs and projects near well-known nightclubs, i.e. Project Hollywood, if a PUA lives in the suburbs, it is important for them to pre-plan their logistics. If a girl needs to drive 1 hour to get to the PUA's house, he needs to make sure to select a venue where he could build enough comfort and attraction in order to, for the extraction to go smoothly. Logistic information that needs to be known for one-night stands are things like whether the target drove or came with friends, how close the target lives to the PUA's house, whether the target has work the next day. Basically, any information that the PUA needs to know to get the girl back to his place. Good logistics are easier to manage with day 2s, where the PUA gets to choose the venue. It's often best to choose a location close to one's house so that things can transition smoothly if things go well. Also, meeting at the PUA's place ahead of time and taking a single car makes it easy to return back to the PUA's house after the date. So, logistics, you're looking at
But it also builds up commitment and consistency too. When she's been to your house, she feels more comfortable coming back, even if it's just to pick you up.
I'm forgetting if I'm ahead of myself here. But logistics, for example, has anyone been to the bar Eye Candy, the Center Bar Mandalay Bay?
Yeah, I've been there. Actually, yeah, drinks are expensive, but a lot of women there.
Okay, perfect.
And it's free to get in.
So then the drinks aren't that expensive.
Oh no, the drinks, a beer is $6.
Okay. Okay. This is this is a nice one to really explain logistics to you. So there are 3 entrances, right?
Yes.
There is a center bar where you don't want to hang out.
No.
There is a VIP seating around the dance floor. And then there's 4 areas that are free seating, which you don't see at a lot of clubs in Vegas. I'm sure you guys have been to like Trist or Pure, and it's like $500 to sit down.
Voodoo Lounge.
So here's what happens. If I know my logistics of the venue that I'm in, then I know that I have 4 separate areas where I can take a girl to. It's not going to cost me money, and I can extract her from virtually anywhere. Let's say my target was at the center bar. My target could be on the dance floor. I can enter the venue. I can open the target. I can then move her to the dance floor. That's your first move. I can possibly meet her on the dance floor and instantly take her to a sit-down location to start building comfort. And I can also bounce her to be out of the venue to Denny's or to my car in the parking lot. So everywhere you go.
Does that say T in the arrow?
Over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just put that for target.
Oh, target, okay.
Yeah, like say I come in and she's either sitting here or she's on the dance floor. I'm going to open in the attraction phase, and then I'm going to move her, right? After attraction, I've got to move her. Imagine if you're in Whole Foods, right? I walk up in the cereal aisle and I see a hot babe, and I open her up. I can build attraction, and that could be the attraction location, the cereal aisle. But at some point, I'm gonna have to move her. I can't get her to bend over in the cereal aisle, or I'm gonna go to jail.
No.
So I'm gonna have to mill her somewhere to gain comfort. Now there's a
move, right?
yeah, move, my man. And there's a lot of specific locations that we go that have like really good logistics. Some places have shitty logistics. You know, if you pick up a girl in Pure on the dance floor, there's really no place you can move her except out of the club. But you're not gonna be able to bounce her out of the club until you sit down and build a little comfort with her. So let's say we're on that, that cereal aisle at Whole Foods. I can't fuck her here, but I can move her to, a Starbucks. And they usually have these a lot of, you ever been to a grocery store and they have like a Jamba Juice inside or a Starbucks?
Like Smith, Albertsons does.
Yeah, perfect. I can move her straight to that Starbucks after I attract her, and I can go right into comfort. My next venture here is that I either have to somehow bounce her from Starbucks back to my place, but let's say I didn't create enough attraction, or the interaction went good, but it wasn't enough to fuck her right there. So what I'm going to want to do is do something called building a time bridge. Now, I can get a girl's number. Let's say, I met her, I attracted her, we're hanging out, and then boom. At some point, it's just, she's got to go to work, she's got to go meet some friends, I got to go to work, so I can't see her anymore, but I want to see her again. So how do I get to this point? What I'm going to do is I'm going to bridge the gap of time. And what that means is I'm not going to just get the number and be like, hey, I'll call you sometime, because that's what we call building a stairway to heaven. Because when you call her later and go, hey, what's up? I'm the dude from the store. She doesn't know you. She doesn't remember you. Yep. But if you can get a guarantee from her, if you say, hey, we're having a pool party, barbecue next week. You should come. You can bring your girlfriends if you want. Then I've locked her into a date. So I'm bridging the gap of time. So, I was here with her. I'm bridging over the gap, and then I can hit her up on the phone, or I could Facebook her, I could IM her, I could chat, I could Skype, continue building comfort, and then I'm going to meet up with her at that pool party, or ice skating, or whatever I want to go. And from there, I'm going to continue the interaction and comfort. If a girl gives you that information and then she does meet up with you on like a first date, we don't call them dates, we call them day twos, because a day two is just continuing the interaction from the beginning. So if she actually meets up with you, you already know that you're in C, in comfort. And if you know the model, if you know that you're in C, then you'll know the next step to do to move her towards S. Is that not making sense so far?
Yeah.
Cool. I think this is going to go back over that again. Okay. So let's imagine that you've chosen your venue where you want to game. I know you got like a lot of guys that come to this group, they're not really into clubs, but realistically, that's where the hot girls are. They're in the clubs, they're at yoga class, they're in the strip club.
Like wine tasting, because I know
wine tasting is good.
Sunday now, I found out about this Fresh Fries. Okay, but I think for this month it's at Town Square. Every Sunday from 6 to 10, there's a wine tasting event up there. I heard that, as David Weingart says, that's a good place to meet women at their wine tasting thing.
Wine tasting is good.
It's Town Square? It's the Sunday Town Square. It's from 6 to 10.
Sunday?
I have the flyer. I have the flyer at home. I know it's going through this month anyways. I think it's free, and they got the free wine tasting. I believe it's every Sunday 6 to 10.
We're at Town Square.
I think at the new place. The what?
Maybe Whole Foods.
No, it's not at Whole Foods. It's not.
You can always post it up on the media site later on.
Yeah, I'll definitely post it. But I know it's free because I've heard because everyone.
Let me know, dude, when it's going on, and I can make it into an event.
David Weingart says, "Hey, a free wine tasting, good place to meet women."
I have picked up at a wine tasting. It's good.
Because most guys don't go to wine tastings events and oh, well, I'm not going to go. I got to pretend I'm something. But a lot of women go and they just love. They want to be a guy in a place like that. You have the advantage there.
For sure, dude. Any of these places that maybe you guys don't want to go, like clubs, if you realize that the hot girls are at the clubs, you don't have to become a clubber. You just want to go there to meet them and run game. Okay, so I'm gonna backtrack a second. Now let's imagine that you know the location where you want to go. You got to remember that every single guy that comes in here is going to have a different idea of success, and he's going to have a different target market. You know, what I want may not be necessarily what you want. Some guys just go for cougars. Some guys go for younger girls. Some guys just go for hired guns. Some guys go for bookworms. Some guys only want blondes. Some guys just want black chick. Different age ranges. Some guys are coming for a relationship. Some guys are coming to build a harem. Some guys are, they just, you know, they like to date 3 women a week, circular dating. So you got to be decisive on what you want. And then you got to, I would go home and, you know, be very decisive, make a list of the, you know, criteria of what you want in a woman, and then you need to go to that venue where she's at. You know, if you like a health conscious woman, try yoga. If you want a challenge, you know, go to the strip club. There's some guys in this group that they like only go for strippers just because they like that challenge. So okay, I'm going off on a tangent here, but so imagine you know what you want. You've chosen your location. Now here's what's going to happen. Beautiful women are rarely found alone. They're often found in groups.
That's true.
They're always out with their girlfriends, and they have this mentality, marine mentality of, you know, they don't leave each other. Forget the way they word it. No one leaves alone. How to say?
We come together.
Never
We
leave a man behind.
No man left behind. There it is.
No. They say we come together, we leave together.
Okay.
All for one for all.
Yeah. So what's going to happen is,
That's a different story.
a lot of guys are always like, well, I've got to wait for the perfect opportunity when she's by herself and then she's right there. Well, in real life, that's not going to happen. In real life, she's going to be at the club with 2, 3, 4, or 8 of her friends at like a bachelorette party. And she may be across the room. And as pickup artists, we don't wait till the girl's by herself. We approach the whole group. Instead of just waiting till she's alone and coming up and trying to approach her, we may open the whole set with something called an indirect opener, where you can be my target. Cool? No, stay there. If Dave was the girl that I was trying to game, I would have to get through all of you, right? But if I engage the whole group and I say, hey guys, did you see that fight outside? I'm not actually telegraphing any interest towards my target. I'm actually entertaining the whole set. And if I can win over the whole set, over time, what's going to happen in social dynamics is girls will start pairing off. Maybe you two will start talking to each other. You may stand there, you may start talking to him. And as I demonstrate value, you guys will back off. You won't be so threatened by me. And then I can go in and make my approach, my direct approach, after I've already attracted her. So guys, like, I like doing direct approach because it builds your balls. But what happens is, if you go up to a girl and instantly telegraph interest, you know, hey, you're absolutely adorable, I had to come meet you. But when you do it blind and she's not attracted to you, she's just like, okay, she gives her a number, but then it's like to get rid of you. Whereas if you created attraction first, then she can give you a number that'd be more of a solid number. Imagine you're a rock star. Imagine you're Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt's DHVs are already downloaded into every girl's head. So if Brad Pitt walks into a party, girls will, he can walk up and say, hey, I like you, and she'll drop on her knees. Because it's Brad Pitt. But if Brad Pitt comes to that party and no one knows him, like they don't recognize him, and he says the same thing, he's just like, okay, who is this guy? Right?
Hey Ryan, one thing you said too, you like the direct approach. It's good to be the builds balls. I mean, we all have to like work on different things, and keep in mind like there's different things to do to work on certain things. So it's good to like kind of know yourself and what you need to like concentrate on. Yeah,
definitely do.
That's why it's good to have one, an instructor, and then 2, a wingman. Your wingman needs to be talented.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're learning here. That's what we all came to. We want to improve our game with the women.
Your instructor and your wingman will be able to look back and talk about your body language and other such things. They'll know what to look for.
For sure. So let's look into sets. When you see sets, after you hear this little lecture right here and you go out and you'll actually start seeing everyone either walking in 2s, 3s, 4s, and you can start saying, that's a 2 set, that's a 3 set, that's a mixed set. It's like people travel in tribes, and this part, like after you learn this and you see it in real life, it kind of fucks up your whole reality because it's something that people never noticed before. So a set is a group of people in a social situation. The term set was coined by Mystery and is taken from magicians who use the word to refer to their audiences. In pickup, it is used as shorthand from any group of people that a POA approaches during the course of sarging. Sarging means, going out looking for pussy.
Yeah.
So we say, hey, are you going sarging tonight? That's what that's from. There was a guy named Ross Jeffries who started this whole seduction community, and his cat was actually named Sargy. And, people would come over and he'd be like, oh, I can't hang out for a second. I got to go sarging again. The cat's out running around. So looking for pussy, that's where that term comes from. For example, a 2 set is a set that contains 2 people. A 3 set has 3 members. And a mixed set is a set that contains both men and women. The dynamics of sets vary depending on the number of people in the set, the gender of its members, and the relationships that exist between them. Group theory is one way to understand the social dynamics with variations in set structure and how to navigate appropriately to the target. Often a POA will approach a set with a specific target that they are interested in, but sets can also be used as practice or warm-up sets, or simply social proof that will advance one's social standing in a venue. And what that means is, have you guys ever heard of warm-up sets?
Yes.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, so sometimes before we go gaming, the same way an athlete will stretch and warm up, and run laps before he does the actual lap. There's going to be sets of people all over in the club, and we'll just warm up, because you get those all the routines. If you're running like indirect pre-scripted can openers, then if you haven't gone out in a week and you go out and try to run the opener, you'll be a little fucked up. So you go ahead and there's 2 fat girls over here. That's a good warm-up set. So then I go in and I can practice with them, and I'm basically using everyone in the club as a punching bag to get myself into state. I'll get in a talkative state, and then when that hot girl comes along, okay, I'm ready to go. That's my real set. Yeah.
So it can really start before you even go out too. Like if you know you're going out, it's really good to say you go to the grocery store. Like, just talk to the cashier. Just talk to people.
Yes.
It doesn't even be just women. Just talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the best things, I think Mystery said it, he's like, you don't have to necessarily feel confident. People are like, okay, I just got to feel confident. And it's hard to tell yourself. What you got to do, you got to feel social. You got to feel like you talk to people and kind of just get it going. And it's a lot easier to get yourself to be, just say, you don't even have to be so say, oh, just need to be talkative.
Yeah.
And go talk to people that, you don't want anything from them. Just saying, hey, what's up?
Sometimes you just walk in the club and there's a routine called, the toast routine, where, as soon as you walk in the door, you start going, hey man, cheers, what's going on? Hey, cheers, huh? And as I'm doing that, I'm actually starting to get myself talking. I get in a more positive state, and then that girl's right here, and it's just like, oh hey, I'm already in a good mood, right?
Yeah, so again, a lot of times when I'm working, I'll be behind a computer all day or whatever, and it's tough to go from that to just going out.
Yeah, you change from
you gotta have some kind of transition where you're just kind of
to go from IT mode into
Exactly.
PUA mode is it's kind of hard. It's hard for most guys. I have that problem all the time. Sometimes I go out and I'm half tired, so I pump my state. I take a lot of vitamins, protein shakes, and I use ginkgo biloba, Korean ginseng, and I'll pop it all at once, and then it's like, oh shit, grab my Monster, my Red Bull.
Some loud music.
Yeah, you get yourself in a talkative state. That's what a set will look like, So I have a 2 set right here. I'm over at Starbucks. And,
that you do?
Yeah. Actually, Richard took this picture actually. So I usually see like hoops over their heads, and I'll imagine a little T over the target's head, and anyone else in the set is an obstacle. Now there's like different variables. Like if there's a guy in the group, we call him the AMOG, the alpha male of the group. And if there's a guy in the group, you want to engage the guy first, and he'll give you permission to talk to the girls. But if you go up directly to your target and start talking to her, this guy's he's gonna cock block you. He's gonna be like, hey, punk, or he's gonna be like he's waiting for attention. If you want to disarm a guy, give him a compliment. Like, be like, dude, I like your shirt, bro. I would totally rock something like that. Where'd you get that? And then he'll be like, oh, dude, I got it at Ross. You're like, sweet, bro. And you go, how do you guys all know each other? And then him and the obstacle, will turn towards each other, and then you have the target to yourself.
Nice. Clever indeed.
All right, so we're going to start here in the attraction phase. A1, the open. The man approaches a set, runs an opener, and immediately earns the set's acceptance. A Venusian artist with tight game approaches a set of people in a bar using an indirect opener. He doesn't seem needy or interested in the target, and in fact, he comes across as though he's just leaving by use of a false time constraint, or FTC. Hey guys, I've only got a quick second. I'm here with friends, or, hey guys, I got my friends with me, but I gotta ask you this quick question. So I don't seem like I'm just coming up and, as if I walked into a group and I was just like, so hey guys, what's going on? How's your night going, man? What are you guys drinking?
It's like, who are you?
I like the music in here. Rather than, hey guys, quick question. I'm here with my friends. I can only stay a second, but I gotta ask you, blah. Right? You could feel more comfortable at that. I'm picking on Sean now. Okay. He demonstrates higher value to the set and crosses the social hook point, a point at which they accept him. That's this point that you will physically feel. You could be in set with a girl. You might say, hey guys, I got a quick question. What do you guys think about girls and tattoos? She'll go, I don't know, I think they're cool. I have one. Get this. My little sister, okay, she's 17 and she's been dating this guy for 2 months and she wants to get his name tattooed on her arm. What do you guys think about that? They'll go, oh dude, don't get that. That names are just bad luck. So, she's already in the interaction, but I haven't reached the hook point yet. It's just fluff talk so far. And then you'd be like, well, what's your tattoo? And she'll go, oh, see, I've got this one right here. You got a first little IOI. And then you go, okay, well, I got to get back to my friends. And then she will say something like, well, hey, I like your shirt. Or she'll say something to you as you're leaving. We call that body rocking out, like I'm faking that I'm leaving. But she'll say something to you that will actually pull you back in. And you'll physically feel this. I've done this where I'm in an elevator. I was with my wingman, and as he was walking out, as I was leaving, she's like, hey, I like your shirt. And I was like, oh, thanks, dude. And I kept walking, and then she's like, well, where'd you get it from? And I'm like, what? She pulled me back in the elevator. The doors closed. Left my wingman on the 3rd floor. I went down to the basement with her, walked her to the car, got her number, and then I came back up, and I'm like, oh, sweet, dude. So. Notice that in the set, after you open, look at that point. Or she may, if she's standing up and there's a chair nearby, you might be talking to her, and she'll talk for a second, and then she'll sit down as if she's interested in talking to you. And then you're like, okay, if I'm at that point, I'm crossing the hook point, I'm clear to move into A2 now. So there's different types of these openers that we use. The point of an opener is to start a conversation. Once the conversational thread is born, you'll be able to raise it any way you like. And what that means is, and guys learn these openers, and then they continue talking about the opener. They'll say, you walk up and you guys, girls, hey, dude, I have a fucking crazy question. I got to get back to my friends in a second, but what do you guys think? Okay, dental floss, before or after you brush? And they're like, before or after? And you're like, see, no one knows the answer. And then they go like, yeah, because I was at the dentist the other day, or they'll walk up on the dog trail and they'll say, hey, I like your dog. And they're like, oh, thanks. You're like, oh, he's a cute dog. Well, so what do you feed your dog? Oh, dog food, huh? Cool. So what kind of dog is that?
Cat food.
Right? They're staying on the dog thread for far too long. Right.
Transition at that point.
Okay. Exactly. So the point of the opener is just to start the conversation. You spark the attraction and you snip and stack to your next routine.
The guys get caught that a lot, especially if it's if you happen to be from the same place. Oh, you're from Texas? I'm from Texas. And you gotta people, oh yeah, I'm known in Texas. And
what did he call that guy?
What nice guy.
You're from Texas. Oh, I'm from Texas.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, the Me Too guy.
Me Too. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I tell a quick story?
Yeah.
One of the first nights I went out, Sergeant with Ryan, I did the dental floss opener, and I wasn't ready to go anywhere from there. I haven't told these guys how I fucked it up because it's way too embarrassing. I told them I didn't know what I did to fuck it up, but I'm not going to share it with you guys. But I stayed on the thread for so long it creeped the chick out, and she was interested. And she finally left.
We did the dental floss thing all day the other day, and there was even a kiosk with 2 dentists, and he walks up and he's like, so guys, we need the answer.
Yeah.
Dental floss, before or after you brush? And they're like, oh, they're all lit up.
That one worked out well.
And he walked out of set, dude, and then the hotter dentist went to a customer, and I started talking to the fat one. She's like, hey, what are you doing?
Come on, tell us on
You should
camera.
say dental floss before or after oral sex.
Damn.
Nice.
So all those weird openers right there, those are called indirect openers. You know, the guys that you see that fight outside, where I'm not actually telegraphing any interest. I'm just, you know, I may be at a bar, and an indirect opener could be like, I'm sitting at the bar and I go, oh, is that the Patriots game or what's the score? An indirect opener. Whereas a direct opener is just straight walking up, telegraphing interest. Hey, I've got to get back to my friends in a second, but I thought you were like absolutely adorable, and I had to come meet you. My name's Ryan. Right? I basically shown her all my cards, and then at that point, it's just up to her if she's gonna take it or leave it.
But that usually works though.
Yeah.
They like that. I mean, I've heard, you know, a lot of guys say, well, you shouldn't never compliment a woman. I've heard other guys say, oh, it's good to compliment a woman, but I guess there's a lot of...
The thing in this is it's just, there are different styles, different schools of thought, and it's what's congruent to you. Are you know, like an alpha guy, like the guy that can walk up to a girl and tell her, yeah, you're fucking smoking hot, I had to say what's up? Or do you want to, you know, kind of play coy with it and hard to get? It depends on who you are, what's your style. It's cool. Opinion opener, that's the, you know, guys, female opinion. My friend's girlfriend, okay, found pictures of his ex underneath his bed, and she told him to burn them. What do you guys think about that? You know, oblique opener, like you know, karaoke, or maybe singing in a band, where she sees you in the audience, she sees you demonstrating higher value. She can become attracted to you because your DHVs are being uploaded to her head before she even knows you. These obliques are good. Like you can if you can rock it on karaoke, and she sees you and she's like, okay, that guy's hot. And then you walk up and you say, I just thought you were absolutely adorable. I was singing my song and I saw you. I had to come say what's up. She's gonna be very responsive. Most likely she'll buy you drinks and you're good to go.
Now, I've sung karaoke many times, but I don't go up to any of these women. Next time I gotta do that. Next time I say karaoke, say, hey, what's up? How you doing?
For sure, dude. It's good for confidence building too.
Yeah.
The other way you can, a third party, an accomplishment introduction by a wing. Let's imagine I'm sitting back at the bar and there's maybe a 2-set, and my wing will come in and he will say, hey, what's going on? I'm actually here with my buddy, dude. Awesome guy, dude. He actually, you know, just...
He's a DJ.
He's a DJ, and he just got the job at the Palms, dude. And okay, so he DHVs me, and then when I walk into the set, she says, "Oh, you're the DJ guy." Right? Good one.
Nice.
Richard fucking saved my ass again. Okay. Or a digital opener. I can, you know, Facebook, MySpace, anything like that.
Hey, what type would you call like approaching a girl on the dance floor?
Dance floor game? Dance floor game?
Dance floor game?
Yeah.
But what type of opener doesn't really fit? It could be any of those. You can do it direct when you're dancing.
Mazin and I have a really good routine where if the dance floor is there, he'll take my camera, and then, you know, I'll come out, kind of dance a little bit, and I'll do some little thing on the floor, and he'll get a picture, and then I'll go like this, and he'll take a picture, and then he'll turn to the girl, like over the shoulder, and be like, ooh, can you take a picture of us? Fuck yeah, we just got into Vegas. Oh. Yeah. And now she's already locked in because she's got my camera. She can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that one works pretty well. Had really good results with that.
Very nice.
All right. During the opening in A1, you could encounter what's called the bitch shield. A social shield that women take on metaphorically when attempting to fend off would-be suitors. Bitch shields, sometimes also called as protection shields.
Yep.
That was a term from VH1 because they wanted the show to be PC. What causes PUAs to feel that a woman seems unapproachable. And we know we've always walked to the club and you get home and your friend says, you know, did you get laid tonight? And you're like, no, they were all stuck up. Like, they weren't stuck up. They were just a bitch when you came around because you didn't display that value yet. She may be giving no approach invitations or anti-approach invitations and be moving away in proximity. Bitch shields can also occur during a conversation when a girl tries to blow the PUA out, acts generally rude, interrupting him or asking him to leave. The concept of the shield is that most women are not normally mean or bitchy, but due to extreme circumstances, such as being in a high-traffic nightclub and being hit on many times, women begin to adopt this persona over time. Usually extremely attractive women, and some of those who are not, often pretend to be a bitch to prevent an endless stream of non-gay men, also known as AFCs, from hitting on them. Some women will enjoy the power rush from being a bitch, while others are like that naturally. It's important for the seducer to recognize when the bitch shield is artificial and when the woman is truly a bitch. Now,
one thing on the bitch shield too, like if you really want to understand what that's a lot more about, I mean, I don't know, like if y'all have like gay friends or whatever, but if you ever go to a gay bar, like for the first time you go, it kind of gives you a perception of what it's like to be a chick. Because then dudes are coming up and hitting you, and like you're like, oh, and like some dudes are cool about it or whatever, and then like someone like trying to fuck you, he's like, dude, get the fuck away from me, you know?
Like frame, well, you have a frame right down the street.
I mean, that sounds like an experience. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a good way to get a different perspective.
It really is, man. I mean, and you
never thought about that.
And then it's something
See
you
which
can.
guys can sleep with you, and then you know how to do it.
Well, wait, you can go as far as you want, man. I don't judge.
I'm gonna use that line, man. That works for me.
But then it's actually also a story you can tell girls later on.
I like that analogy. That was good.
Where you kind of understand.
I actually believe that.
Man, I never really knew what it was like to be with a chick, and I went with my gay friend to the gay car.
And then you go, and oh my god, let me tell you, I'm like, oh shit.
That sounds like a routine coming
Well,
on.
you do that, they might take you shopping
Exactly,
or something, but that's about it.
But you also double your chances of getting laid that night. So you also double your chances of getting laid that night, whether it's a man or a woman.
Okay, so have you guys ever seen that movie Independence Day?
Yeah, of course. It has that play all the time.
I know, we're a group of nerds. I love it. Yeah. So, you know, on Independence Day, and he uploads that virus, right? So what we want to do to get through that bitch shield is, you know how you've noticed every time you give her, you know, I bought you some chocolate, this big heart thing of chocolate, or, you know, the gifts, flowers, nice things. You hit that bitch shield and it just bounces off of her.
Yep.
Except maybe, you know, there's some women that will, you know, just crave attention, and they may take it, still necessarily not gonna get that pussy, but it doesn't, you know, what you want to hit them with is this emotional connection to penetrate, right? You want to upload that virus to get through them so that they can actually start talking to you like a real person instead of, you know, just some random guy at the club.
You know, some guys not trying to get into that pants either.
So back to the hook point, what we were talking about before, social hook point. The point during an interaction when a woman decides she is interested enough in the POA to continue interacting with him. A hook point occurs when a woman or group gives the POA an IOI and starts becoming more interested in him. It is the point where the perceived value of the POA has become high enough for them to be genuinely interested in who he is. Reaching the hook point early is important to keep from getting blown out. I need another beer because I want to go with it. Okay, so our magic meter's filling up a little more. And after we hit that hook point, we're going to be moving into A2, which is the female to male attract phase. That's where we're going to begin. We've opened the girl. Thanks, bro. Fuck yeah. We've gone up, we've started the conversation. She's interested in us and talking a little further. So now we're going to demonstrate higher value to her. A man demonstrates higher value while simultaneously showing lack of interest in the target. She responds with indicators of interest. Example, the POA continues to convey his personality using stories, gambits, humor, patterns, games, routines, palm reading, etc. This combined with his apparent lack of interest in the target raises his social value relative to hers and intensifies her emotional state. She begins to give him indicators of interest. This little picture I have on here, I already was with a couple of my wing guys, and we were actually playing this game called Sargopoly, where I put these challenges in my, you know, I dress up like the Monopoly dude, and I put these challenges in my hat, like get a girl's number in under 3 minutes using the opener, do you know why you suck? And you know, you would put $5 in the hat, and then you draw that challenge. And one of the challenges was dude had to walk up to a girl and open with basically telling her what the fuck we were doing. And actually that was this girl. And then we started like basically using her as you know, like pre-selection, because she had a couple girlfriends who then we kind of created this I don't know, this scene right here, and this girl was across the bar watching us all having all this fun. I was displaying leader of men, pre-selection. I had the bartender take this picture, which made this like this spectacle for her to look at, and I was looking right at her when I took the picture. So after she was already attracted, so I was able to just walk up to her. I gave her a high five and a spin. I took her number, and then I walked back. And I mean, it was simple within like a couple minutes.
Is that Jenny?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What was fucked up is my other wingman didn't see me spin her, didn't see me open her. He walks up, does the same opener, fucking tries to spin her around, and she looks right at me like, what the fuck is going on?
Wow.
So that was
That's
good.
really funny.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
so how'd you respond to that one? What'd you bounce back with?
I said we're the fun crowd.
Yes,
We like to
We all
dance.
like to dance.
yes, we did.
So from the woman's perspective here, okay, the target's not going to feel attraction for you unless your social value, social status is preserved. Fuck, I need the TV on this side. To be perceived by her to be equal or greater than her own. Let's imagine like we walk in a room, and at first, you know, she's been hit on 20, 30 times, her ego is through the roof, and she sees you as just another chump. Okay? When you first open, you're just some guy. She has no reason to perceive you as having any more value than that. She sees herself as the prize. Except, you're dressed well, you have good body language, you're not needy, you're interesting. You've opened her, you're beginning to DHV, which raises your value. What the fuck? Okay, so you move into A2. Now you're demonstrating value. Other girls are touching you, pre-selection, and you begin to neg her, so she'll show you IOIs, which you're going to exploit. By negging her, in DHVing, your value is coming up, her value is going down. She's starting to see herself as like, oh, maybe I'm not that cool. This guy is higher value than me. So she's going to want to revalidate herself to you. That's just what women do. When you start throwing a neg, you start talking to her and she laughs and you go, oh, that's so cute. Your nose wiggles a little bit when you laugh. Oh, look, it did it again. Okay? Then she'll become self-conscious. So you're robbing her of a little of her self-esteem.
Nice.
Okay? She'll start DHVing to you when you get into A3. This is the qualification phase. After you demonstrate value to her, she'll show you IOIs because she sees you as a valuable guy. And since you're a valuable guy, is she really worth your time? So you start saying like, are you fun? Can you cook? And she'll be like, oh yeah, I love to cook. I love to, I actually went to school for cooking. So she's actually trying to qualify herself to you. She DHVs to win your affections, and you respond with intermittent IOIs. Don't reward her for every good thing she does. Remember, give that rapid return. Some IODs, some IOIs. Compliance tests and hoops, and you give her the perception that she's winning you over. So you ask her, can you cook? Yeah, I can cook. I actually went to school for cooking. Or I'm going to school to be a nurse. And then you go, oh, dude, that's awesome. I thought you were like, the typical Vegas girl. You're trying to be a nurse? Dude, that's awesome. How do we make that happen? So you're actually qualifying her, and she feels validated as a human being rather than an object.
Nice.
Now that she's indicated interest in you, A2, and you have indicated interest in her, A3, she is invested in the interaction and is probably trying to build comfort with you and wishing you would make it happen. So here we are.
This goes along with, if somebody gives you something, even if it's something nice, it's like, okay, that's cool. If it's really nice, or if it's not, it's like, whatever. You don't value anything that's given to you, but if you work for it or whatever, and you invest it, you let her work for your approval, and then she values it much higher.
Yeah,
That's true.
definitely, dude. So in C1 now, after you've been like, oh wow, you're going to school for a nurse? Dude, that's fucking awesome. I gave her some value, and now she feels validated, and now we're on like an equal playing field. Now she's starting to see you as a high value man, equal or greater to her. She's going to want to hang out with you. You now have mutual respect, investment, and attraction. Move her into a location where the two of you can be more isolated together and build comfort with her. Don't forget to calibrate your Kino to her comfort levels. So neg theory. A neg is short for negative, or negative compliment.
I'm sorry, can you
Back up? Or?
not back up, but like when you go to C1, like what's a good signal that it's time to move her? From like what's something, like a couple examples of what might happen where.
Okay, so I open the conversation.
That's the key part.
Yeah.
I mean, I forget a lot where I was there. I forget to move.
Say, I walked up. Hey, what's going on? What are you drinking?
Rum and Coke.
Rum and Coke? I can't hear the music. Come here. I may pull you over here. And what were you saying? So I talked to you for a second. I'm going to demonstrate value. Like I did that first move really quick. So I'm already there. Now all I have to do is display some value, to let her know she's dealing with, a real man, or a man that she may want to be get to know. And afterwards, after I start saying, well, hey, I own this club, I don't know, whatever, DHV. So, oh, cool. And she said, well, I do this. Now I give her a little qualification. I say, well, let's go sit down over here. So, it's very simple. At that point, then I can sit down and we're in C1, and we'll go into the next phase. I'll get into it deeper in a second. Okay, a neg is short for a negative compliment. It is a statement or action used to temporarily disqualify oneself from being considered a potential suitor. And the result should always be laughter. If a lot of guys, they hear this negging theory and they take it like super cocky and super arrogant, and then it'll just blow you out of set. There was one of my wingmen, we were at, I want to say Lavo, I'm not sure, but he's like, I'm going to open with a neg, because this girl was like a 9. And he walks up and he's like, what's with those giant hoop earrings? And then she's like, what do you mean? She's like, oh, you look like you're from the Special Olympics. And she was like, and she just left, dude. And I was like, that wasn't a neg, that was you just being a dick, dude. Like, it wasn't funny, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and neg's it's not really about like making her feel bad about herself or anything. It's about you're not putting her on a pedestal, and it's like a really good frame is treat her like she's your little sister.
Yeah.
The verbal abuse
you
comes later when you're married.
You can tease her, but it's done out of love. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's being playful.
Playful, yeah.
One of the most the most popular neg you'll see in the community is, you go up to the girl and you say like, hey, nice nails, are they real? And she'll go, oh no, and you go, oh, well, they're still cool. Anyway, so it's like every other guy was like, oh, I like your nails. She's like, thank you. Took the validation and she walked. But you gave her a compliment. You said they're nice, but she couldn't take the validation. So she's like, oh, whoa, wait a second, what? Got a couple on here. Let's see. Okay, so the secret behind negs, or cocky funny humor, as David D calls it, CNF. By doing that, you're like kind of one-upping them in the conversation, this like verbal sparring. You get her to laugh, but laughter induces endorphins such as dopamine and oxytocin into her brain, which are addictive chemicals. You ever hear like a woman says, I want a man that will make me laugh?
Of course.
Because she wants a drug dealer, a guy that can consistently make her laugh, right? Because, if she's not attracted to the guy, and the guy's like, he's just not amusing, he's not attractive, and every time he talks, and he'll try to say something funny, and she's just like, mm-hmm. But if she's looking up to that guy and he's saying the shit that keeps making her laugh, oh gosh, she's getting fed those drugs. So by flushing her brain with addictive chemicals and simultaneously breaking her self-esteem, you promote a challenge to the target in a fun and teasing way and ultimately become irresistible for you. She'll begin cycling with a physical craving for your attention. Good shit. So moving into A3, which is the mere opposite of A2. Remember, in A2, we DHV'd to the girl, and she gave us IOIs. At this point, the A3 is also called qualification, where we're going to qualify her for legitimate reasons. She's going to DHV to us, and then we're going to IOI back to reward her for good behavior. The man baits the woman to become more invested in the interaction, and then he rewards her efforts with indicators of interest. For example, the PUA uses takeaways to bait her into chasing after him, to earn his affections, and she becomes more invested in the interaction. He rewards her with indicators of interest. Then he moves her into a quiet area of the bar and begins building comfort. This one was that girl that I spun the other night, and actually Rich was winging with me. We ran a 5K, and to continue an interaction running 3.5 miles is a pain in the ass, but we had it just down where I would talk for a minute to her, and he was kind of like trailing. And then if I ran out of shit to say, I would kind of stop to the side and code him, and then he'd come in and keep talking to her. But all the while, that would build like 35 minutes of comfort time. And then we moved her over to the bar and had a drink. Keys to success in A3. You must convey to the target that you are qualifying her for legitimate reasons. If she suspects you're only interested in her due to her physicality, she's not going to feel validated as a human being, and in turn assume you only want her for sex. So I say something like this. Dude, it's funny because, I thought your first impression really sucked, but now that I get to know you better, you're like a really fun and interesting person. And I love the fact you love the outdoors as much as me. You're totally not the typical Vegas girl I thought you were. I'd definitely like to get a chance to know you better. I got to get back to my friends, but how can we continue this conversation? Maybe that's fair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Now she's not like, oh, he doesn't just, want my tits and my ass. He's actually interested in me.
Yeah, you demonstrate that's a little bit of Vince Kelvin in there too.
And that point, because I didn't ask for her phone number directly, this is like another trick. As I said, how can we continue this conversation? I didn't say like, can I get your phone number? It prompted her to say, well, I could give you my phone number. So in her mind, I'm a guy that she gave her phone number to, not the guy that took her phone number. And at that point, I'll create a time bridge. So let's look at the attraction phase in real time.
Cool, that's a lot.
This is how quick that will happen.
Okay, guys, here it is.
So I'm cold approaching this 2-set right here. I open the obstacle, running my opener, negative target, keynote the obstacle. Now I'm starting to DHV. Now I'm compliance testing them. Boom. These girls are both under compliance. Great. Now I'm qualifying them. Are you guys locals? We're actually having a pool party barbecue this week. Let me grab your numbers. I'll hit you up. Do you guys text? Something like that. I don't know what I'm doing right here. False time constraint.
That was awesome.
It's better if you have the audio.
Yeah, I know. Now I got this thing, so it's better. Next time. I'm saying, if I hit you up on Facebook, will you accept my friend request? You promise, you pinky promise, spin, and phone comes out. And then my wingman came in to isolate her, and then I built a little more keynote.
So was it Richard over here? Was he the wingman at that time?
CJ was there.
Okay, cool.
So what was the DHV did you use there?
Did something about Britney Spears. They were in town for the concert, and I told them that I was actually doing the audio or the lights or stuff. I don't remember what I said, but it was really smooth.
You're the audio engineer. Oh, the audio video.
Yeah, it was like congruent. I could lie about it, and it seemed very real. So, but all that matters is that I opened the conversation, I got the number, and then I can get to know her later.
How did it end with these women?
That was actually it, because I had actually just started dating Michelle, and that was the night that the dude that was there filming was the guy from the 7 magazine who wrote the article. So he basically, the guy that wrote the 7 article, he was gonna write the article, but he's like, you got to take me out, and I want to see if this is real. So I just gave him the camera. I was like, okay, here you go. So I just took her number. It was like, that's why he says at the end, he's like, since I'm in a LTR now, a long-term relationship, he says I'm like the POA fisherman who, I catch it and throw it back.
Catch and release.
Yeah, just keep my chops up and shit.
Ryan, I gotta go because I gotta go to work tomorrow and do my laundry, but I wanted to say it's really cool stuff, man.
For sure, man. Thanks,
a
dude.
lot for all the info.
All right, bro.
We'll stay in touch. I'll come and see you guys.
Okay, man.
Later, man. Sean.
Hey, take care.
Good day.
You guys want to take a 10 for a second? I got to piss, too. Okay. Okay. Moving into C1, we've attracted the girl. Probably got we're at the number at this point. Or this may be the first date, day 2. C1, conversation. The couple shares in friendly dialogue. A sense of comfort and rapport develops. Example. The POA alternates between fluff talk, keynote escalation, and routines such as Strawberry Fields or The Cube in order to begin building deeper connection with the target, forcing her into a deeper emotional investment with him while simultaneously running the clock in order to preserve the target's comfort threshold. Strawberry fields in the cube are like pre-scripted gambits that are used to, they're like psychological cold reads for the girl, such as like, anyone want to volunteer?
Sure, I'll go.
Okay, so you might be in the middle of a conversation and she's telling you about what she wants to do when she grows up, or anything like that, and then you go randomly, hey, have you ever played Strawberry Fields?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I could ask you 3 questions, and I could know you at like a profoundly deep level.
Okay.
You want to play?
Sure.
Are you ready for this?
Sounds good.
Okay. Imagine there's a strawberry field, right? But there's a fence in front of it. How tall is the fence?
3 feet high.
That makes sense. Okay, say imagine you happen to get over the fence, and there's this endless field of strawberries. How many would you pick?
How many? A dozen.
I'm never going to introduce you to my mother. What about the farmer?
What about the farmer?
You know what? I totally saw that about you. All right, are you ready for this?
Go.
They say the fence is the height of the fence is usually your aspiration in life. A lot of people they see like a 6-inch fence or a 1-foot fence, but you said 3 feet. You see, and you do seem like a very ambitious girl. Is that true?
Yeah.
Nice. Now, really, what's happening is the height of the fence is basically the size of the padlock on her panties. The bigger the fence, the harder it is to get in. Some girls will straight up say like, a 6-inch fence. It's good stuff.
So what do you say that if it's 6 inches, you can't really say like, okay, well, you're ambitious.
Well, you have to calibrate to like, who she is, and you're in a way like you're cold reading her and making her feel like, oh God, he knows me.
So if it's a short rule fence, like, how would you? What's an example?
Then you could use the. There was one girl that did that. I think she said like 6-inch fence and 20 strawberries or something, and I was like, well, I said about the padlock thing, and I was like, so you're dirty or something, and she was like, oh my gosh. And then you go, well, so you said a dozen strawberries? Yeah. So usually the larger amount of strawberries, the amount of strawberries is usually your sex drive. And you do seem like a bad girl to me, or you seem naughty.
Girl.
I don't believe you.
I've been wondering.
And they say the farmer is your view on authority. And you just said, what farmer? Are you the type of girl that would just, not care about the cop when he pulls you over, show him your tits and get away? Something like that. But anyway, like that little routine just bought, 3 to 5 minutes of comfort time. And there's all these, like this, the cube one is like a 15-minute routine. I'll show you guys sometime. But it's kind of the same thing, but a little more in depth. And
they're great for running the Russ Jeffries speed seduction NLP stuff with.
Let's see. So we spent a little time in C1. We've had some conversation, but now we're getting on to this more profound connection level. Both parties feel a vibe that it is on. Kissing occurs at this phase. This phase may last over the course of several dates. Now, in seduction community, kissing is not a seduction tool. It's not to create arousal. It's just to create comfort with them. Like we can make out with the girl on the dance floor, but we don't sit there and keep trying to grind on her and finger her, and then we may, kiss her for a second and then we'll roll off, just so she becomes comfortable with us. So it's like kissing is no big deal. You're just the type of guy that, you're that guy that she can make out in the bar and then not feel guilty about it. With a bounce to Mel's diner and a time bridge for sushi the next day, he builds comfort, connection, and trust over a cumulative 7-hour period. At some point during C2, they begin kissing. They eventually bounce to his apartment. I found in a lot of connection, when I'll do a day 2, I'll usually go somewhere where we were talking about in the attraction phase. Like, for example, oh, fucker. I stepped on my cord. Fucker. This girl, we're talking about fitness stuff in the conversation phase. So when I day tutor, I had mentioned that, hey, there's, they're doing the race for the cure thing. And she's like, okay, so that's, it was a better form of connection. The girl over here, they were very into like rock climbing, and I ended up going out with them. I brought my brother along to wing me, and, we went on a hike. Again, creating a connection between the two of us. We were talking about camping, and we ended up going on a hike again. This girl's dream date or her just natural date was to, get a 6-pack of beer and a pizza and hang out on the, hood of a car and watch the stars. And I didn't have a car, so and neither did she. So we just ended up getting a pizza and hung out on the 50-yard line. So again, like take them to that environment where they're comfortable and they feel a connection to you, and you'll slowly escalate into C3. Moving from conversation, creating more connection will lead to intimacy, which is C3. So now at a seduction location, heavy making out occurs. The couple moves into the bedroom. I don't have any bedroom pictures for you guys, so. But you can kind of see where that went. Which enters into the seduction phase. So we have her back isolated at the apartment, and foreplay will begin. The couple begins the physical escalation towards sex. If this happens too soon, it can cause buyer's remorse. Now, logistically, you have to remember, if we were on a date or we were at the bar and I moved her back to my house, first we traveled in the car, built some more comfort time, we built some more rapport. To get to my bedroom, we had to go through the living room. And a lot of times, I'm going off on a tangent here, but if you guys ever use that line, you're at the bar and then you're on a date and you're like, well, we can go back to my place and watch a movie, or if she says that to you, that's basically saying, let's go have sex. But she has the plausible deniability of saying, well, we were just going to watch a movie and it just kind of happened. But she doesn't want to be responsible for that. And usually if that happens, if she goes back to watch a movie, if you actually get to turning on the movie, within the first 10 minutes, start making out, take off the top, take off the panties, and fuck her. But usually you don't even have to turn on the movie. If she goes back to your apartment, as soon as you open the door, just take her by the hand, take her straight to the bedroom, throw her up against the wall, and fuck her. So S2, last minute resistance, LMR. Last minute resistance is the point of no return before sex occurs. It's often a freak out moment for most women. LMR is to a woman as approach anxiety is to a man. Now, have you guys ever been you've seen a hot girl, you feel compelled to go talk to her. She's hot, you want to fuck her, but at the same time you're like, I can't, and you freeze up. And we call that approach anxiety. It can be, the more approaches you do, the more you get desensitized to it. It never really goes away, but we have to go back to 50,000 years ago when we lived in tribes. Let's say we live in a tribe of 50 people, 25 guys, 25 girls. And 5 of those girls, they're too old to fuck. 5 of those girls are too young. 5 may be sick. 5 may be fat. And so you only have, a couple girls to actually choose from. When we're talking about high caliber women that will give you a higher statistical probability of survival and replication. So the problem is, though, all those girls are on the harem of the tribal leader. And if you go fuck with one of his girls, he'll have, one of his people on, in the higher hierarchy where he's at. You've got the chief of the tribe.
Like a sergeant. Like a sergeant.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. Perfect. And if you fuck with this girl and he catches you, he'll just be like, go kill this guy. Go smash a rock over his head. Or at the same time, if you actually do, approach one of the girls and she doesn't like you, she goes back and tells all the other girls in the tribe, this guy's a douchebag. He tried to do this. So what's happening is over 50,000 years, it's been hardwired into us as men to fear the approach. So LMR to a woman is like the mirror opposite of our approach anxiety. You get them in bed and you were making out and her body is rewarding her. She was having a good time making out with you, but then you went to take off the bra and she's like, oh, this isn't making out anymore. This could lead to sex. Now with us guys, we can go ahead and bust a nut and peace out, right? No big deal. We scored another notch on the belt. High five from your buddy. You're the man. But her, 50,000 years ago, they didn't have condoms. They didn't have birth control. So she could be forced to be with your child for the next 18 years. So sex is a bigger investment for women. But most guys, they encounter LMR. The girl starts, she'll be like, oh, we can't do that. And he tries to arouse her more. He'll keep making out, keep kissing her neck. Come on, baby, it's okay, right? I've done that before. And what does it do? They just freeze out more. So what we do is called a freeze out. We basically do the reversal. If she says like no, you go ahead and go, oh, it's cool, baby. You know, I just like being with you. You want to show that you're pair bonded to her. So you'll tell her something like, oh, with or without the sex, dude, it's cool. I just like hanging out with you. So you know, blow out the candle, turn on the TV, kick back, and she's gonna be like sitting there, what the fuck is going on? And then when you left her, you know, you can go ahead and tell her. She'll be like, well, what's wrong? You'd be like, oh, nothing's wrong, dude. It's cool chilling with you, but you know, I mean, you did turn me down, and you know, it's not fair. You should. I don't have to be blue balled or anything like that. So you let her come back to you, and you start making out again. You know, light the candle back, turn off the light, turn off the TV, and then go back to what you're doing and try to take off the bra. Usually it'll come off that time, but then you go for the panties, and she may freeze out again. So you go ahead and freeze out on her. Blow out the candle, turn on the TV, go in the other room, wash the dishes, and she's like laying in bed like, what the fuck happened? And then she'll come out in the living room and be like, something wrong? Take her back in the bedroom and then continue. Which will lead us to S3, which is penetration, sex. It is necessary to have sexual intercourse several times in order to ensure a sexual relationship. And you can't just fuck her once and then not call her the next day. Like Ashton Kutcher in the movie Spread has a real good quote that says, you know, a call after a good lay the next day goes a long way. So finally he moves her into the bedroom, begins foreplay, overcomes any last minute resistance, and has sex with her. Our magic meter is full. Okay, and after you get at that point, then that real fun begins. That's when you can get into love. Or you can decide to keep her as a friend. You can develop a relationship with her, LTR, long-term relationship. MLTR, multiple long-term relationship. This is where you can get her to start bringing her friends home and have threesomes, group sex. You can move towards marriage, or you can just keep her as a girl in your harem. You can turn her into a friend with benefit, get into swinging. Whatever you want to do, whatever is your goal. Every guy has a different idea of what success is in this. But the bottom line is it's going to go wherever you want it to go, as long as you as a man control the frame. Like if you start, bitching out, if you think, she may have a threesome with another guy, but if you want that, but you think it's like bad or it's special, then she's going to think that too, and she's not going to give it to you. But if it's a natural thing for you, she's got to submit to it, or she can find someone else. But the basic thing is, once you guys have the skill and you can get it to this point consistently, then you can get what you want, and you have the power. You have the power. Do I want to keep this girl in my life, or do I want to, throw the fish back in the pond and go for that, better challenge? So if we simplify it, instead of all those 9 levels, you can memorize this, and then you just know you've got to meet the girl, you lock into the set, you bounce her out of the club, you pull her back to your apartment, and you isolate her in the bedroom. Or if we want to simplify it even further, we find the girl, we meet the girl, we attract the girl, we close the girl. Persistence is the key. Rejection is only in your mind. Rejection doesn't even exist. If you get blown out of set, that's just one more way you've found out how not to pick up a girl. If you choose to give up and move on to the next set, it becomes game over by your accord. I mean, you could be doing great and then you just feel like ejecting because you felt discomfortable in the set. It wasn't her fault. All that's really happening is that she still perceives herself as higher value than you and is therefore not feeling attraction towards you. You need more negs, more DHVs in order to flip the power dynamic. So this is the microcalibration model that Mr. developed. Remember what we were talking about earlier? We DHV, and we want to see if she's going to either IOI or IOD. If she gives you an IOD, you return with another IOD. If she IOIs you, you begin compliance testing her. She can either comply or defy. If she defies your compliance tests, I say, hey, what's up? She says, hi. Give me a high five. She says, I don't want to give you a high five. Okay. Oh, you couldn't handle that anyway. I IOD'd her back, and I'm going to demonstrate higher value again, and then see if she IOIs or IODs. Let's say she takes the compliance and says, hey, what's up? How you doing? What are you drinking? Oh, I'm chilling. Have me a high five. She gives me, a high five. She complies with my test. Then I can be like, oh, cool, you're a cool dude, an IOI. And at this point, once we get into this positive feedback loop, We simply keep compliance testing her all the way from, a handshake all the way to sex. Okay, so game over. Statistically, they've proved that 58% of marriages end before the first 5 years, and 80% of second marriages fail. So what that's saying is nothing lasts forever, That the Disney movies that they've been spoon feeding your whole life, living happily ever after, most likely is not going to happen.
Really?
And with Facebook, those percentages are only going up, I'm sure.
After sex, you have the option of pursuing a sexual relationship, but if you don't keep your game tight, the woman will move on to the next challenge. At that point, sex will discontinue, and ultimately so will the communication, in that order. So I wrote this little thing about the second quest. I'm a big Zelda fan, and at the end of the game, you save the princess, and you hold up the Triforce, and the little flashing lights, and the credits go up, but those credits aren't going to run forever. Sooner or later, it's going to say, another quest will start from here. Now let's imagine you want to get that woman back. If the relationship went sour, most likely it's because you fell back into your old ways. You displayed too much needy behavior, became too submissive to her requests, etc. To win her back, you're going to have to increase your value and ultimately start the game over in A1. Sooner or later, you'll actually gain higher value, real value. You'll go out and get a new job, get a new car, create a new identity, get a new girlfriend, and then sooner or later you're going to give that girl a call back and you reopen the chat. You open again. You're going to demonstrate higher value to her, back to A2, and play the second quest in order to rekindle your old flame. So, I just want you guys to remember that obsession is not love, and in this life all you need is yourself. I was really sprung on this girl for a long time, ever since I was like 5 years old. And eventually, I never dated her, but I actually got her name tattooed on my chest. Because I was thinking, it's because I love her. We're meant to be together, and someday,
And she weighs like 250 pounds now.
Yeah, I seen her on Facebook, and I was like, what the fuck happened, dude? That was good.
I still get to look at. Yeah, pretty.
She's still trying to get over you.
Yeah.
She's eating her
The thing is that wasn't love, that was just obsessive behavior. And obviously, you can tell, she knew the way that I felt about her, so she would have known she's the prize, and I would have been lower value. So she couldn't have ever felt any attraction for me in the first place. So I was just being delusional. So that's why I say, learn game, become a better man for yourself, and go for what makes you happy. And just know that there's always other options out there. So if you may be stuck on this one girl, we call that one-itis. Again, that's that girl that you just have to get. She's perfect. She already knows, again, she's on that pedestal. She's never going to go for you. You're always going to be the dude that holds her purse. But as my buddy Maz says, there's a billion stars in the sky, guys, so let's get out there and make it happen. That's what I got for this evening.
All right.